Hello students, welcome to part 3 of the chapter Superposition of Waves. We have already studied two parts in which we have covered the main topic, which is superposition of waves. In yesterday part only we have studied about superposition. What was that? When two or more waves interfere or interact with each other, what happens to them? What happens to their displacement? This all has been given by this principle, which is superposition principle. That displacement is actually vector sum of displacement of the individual wave. Why is it so? Because if we are considering any kind of wave that is traveling through any medium, that wave is traveling like she is the only one, or that wave is only one who is traveling through that medium. And then if the second wave came into contact with that wave, their displacement are not met together, but we have to calculate the displacement of these two individual waves. So suppose first wave is y1, second wave is y2, then what will be the displacement of both of them? It will be y1 plus y2. Okay, so this we have seen already. Even we have seen what happens when two waves of same amplitude and same phase interact with each other. What happens to that? And even we have seen that when two waves which are having same amplitude and when they are out of phase, what happens to them? Alright, so after studying all of this, which is superposition principle, we are here with the next point, and in this particular video we are going to study about the resultant amplitude. What exactly happens when two or more waves interact with each other? Okay, so what happens to the amplitude? That we are going to find out. Fine, so we are going to consider one wave which is having displacement like this. As I told you, when one wave is moving in medium, the second wave is coming from the backside of first wave, right? When another one is moving forward, and then after some time the second wave came. So there will be the phase lag between two waves. So that phase lag has been given by phi. Okay, the sine phi. So I am going to write another equation, which is a sine omega t plus phi. Alright, so these are the two waves which are traveling through any medium that we are going to consider, and we are going to find out the resultant amplitude of both of this. Okay, so let's find out. Now, by considering the superposition principle, what will be the displacement? As the displacement is a vector quantity, we have to add both of them. So this will be like this, which is y is equal to y1 plus y2. Now we can add both of them. Let's add both the equations. So by adding, I will consider a1 and a2 over here. Okay, because we are going to find out the resultant amplitude, right? So we don't know the resultant of both of them. So I am going to consider this as a1 and this is as a2. So a1 sine omega t plus a2 sine omega t plus phi. This is what we got. Now what we can do, again we are going to use some of the formulae from math, which is, I will write over here, sine of a plus b is given by sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. So this is the formula which we are going to use over here, because we are having same kind of equation over here, or same kind of bracket over here, sine of a plus b. Your a will be considered as omega t and b will be considered as phi. Okay, so let's do that. So a1 sine omega t will be as it is, this will be as it is. Alright, so next is a2 into bracket sine of sine a cos b. So I will write directly over here, right? By multiplying by a2, I am going to write directly. So it will be sine of omega t cos phi plus a2. Here I have written sine omega t, so I have to written like this over here. Is it right? It is. What I have written, a1 sin omega t plus a2 sin omega t cos phi plus a2 sin phi cos omega t. Alright. So what we can do now, if you see both first two terms, sin omega t is common from both of them, right? So I can write the common term out of the bracket and I will write whatever remains in the bracket. What will remain over here? a1 will remain, and here a2 cos phi. Is it right? Yes. Now this will be as it is, a2 sin phi cos omega t. Now what I am doing is I am going to put some values over here. Okay, so what I am going to put, just look at this. I am going to put a1 plus a2 cos phi as a cos theta. This is my first substitution. What I have substituted, instead of a1 plus a2 cos phi, I am going to write a cos theta over here, and instead of a2 sin phi, I am writing a sin theta. What did you observe over here? I have just cancelled out the phi types of terms. Can you see that? Yes. I have just put the omega t terms over here. I just want whole equation in terms of omega t. So I have substituted a value instead of the terms which is having phi. So here it is, a1 plus a2 cos phi. Instead of this, I am going to put a cos theta, and instead of a2 sin phi, I am going to put a sin theta. So let's put what we are getting. Let's see. So this will be sin omega t. Instead of this, what we are going to put? A cos theta. So this a I will write at the very beginning, which is here. Okay. Plus a sin theta to cos omega t. Cos omega t. So now what you can observe, this a and a can be taken outside because these are common, and which is nothing but the resultant amplitude with which we are going to find out. Okay. So let's take common, and we are getting sin omega t cos theta plus cos omega t sin theta. Now what is this? What you can observe from this equation, sin omega t cos theta, cos omega t sin theta. This is nothing but sine of a plus b. Again we are getting the same term. So we are getting y as a sine of omega t plus theta. So this is nothing but the resultant displacement, resultant equation y is equal to. Okay, now what is our aim? Our aim is to find out the resultant amplitude, right? So we are going to find out a. Now how to find a? Here we have two equations. a1 plus a2 cos phi is equal to a cos theta, and second one is a2 sin phi is equal to a sin theta. I can square and add both the equations, and by solving that I can find out the value for a. So let's see what happens to it. Okay, so I hope you got this. Very easy. You have to just remind this both equation. Even if you remind one equation, second one automatically comes in your mind. Okay, so if you have this equation, y1 is equal to a1 sin omega t, what will be the second one? Plus phi should be there, right? Then you are going to add up, and then you will apply this formula to that. And then by taking out sin omega t, then substituting the value instead of phi, we are going to put theta over there, and then we get two values. And then at the very last we got y is equal to a sin omega t plus theta. Okay, and now we are moving towards our aim, which is to find out the resultant amplitude. Now let's see. I will not rub this because we want this both equations. Okay. Now, by considering both the equations, this what I have told you, I have to square and add both the equations. Okay, so by squaring, a square cos square theta plus a square sin square theta is equal to a1 plus a2 cos phi square plus a2 square sin square phi. Is it right? Just cross check it. A square cos square theta plus a square sin square theta is equal to a1 plus a2 cos phi square plus a2 square sin square phi. Yes, it is right. Now we are going to solve this. By taking common a square, what will be cos square theta plus sin square theta? It will be 1. So here we are getting only a square. If you remember, I have completed wave optics chapter in which we have already done such kind of derivation, which was the composition, right? Even in oscillations we have done composition of two SHMs, in which we have carried out the same procedure over there. Even we have find out the resultant amplitude as R over there. Then we have find out phi. So you can compare both of them and you can do in the same way. Same procedure is applied over here. Some things are different because we are here considering what? We are considering a wave which is traveling in forward, which is progressive wave. So that some kind of difference is there, but same procedure has to be applied. Okay, so you can compare and you can do by your own even. Okay, so let's see here. A plus b bracket square will be a square plus b square plus twice ab, right, plus this term. Now what you can observe here, again if you take common out a2 square, it will be sin square phi plus cos square phi will comes out to be 1. So we will write a square is equal to a1 square plus only a2 square you will get plus twice a1 a2 cos phi. So this is what you got, and if you want a, it will be under root. Okay, so just have a look so that you will come to know what exactly we have done. Alright, so now we will move towards, I will write by putting a square root for this. This is by taking square. Okay, now we are going to consider some cases, some special cases of phi. If phi is equal to 0, both the waves are in phase. But if phi is equal to pi, then the both waves are out of phase. So what happens to the amplitude when both the waves are in phase and both the waves are out of phase? What happens to them? Let's see. So some special cases are there that we are going to see. I will write over here. First, if phi is equal to 0. Okay, if phi is equal to 0, what will be cos phi? Cos 0 is 1. So I will get a as under root a1 square plus a2 square plus twice a1 a2, because cos 0 is 1. So a1 square plus a2 square plus twice a1 a2. So this is nothing but a1 plus a2 bracket square. So I will write a as a1 plus a2 bracket square. So this comes out to be a1 plus a2. So what you can say, this is the maximum amplitude. So when both the waves are in phase, then their amplitude is summation of individual amplitudes, which is A1 plus A2. If I consider amplitudes are same, what I will get? I will get twice A over here. So resultant amplitude will be twice of the previous, that is twice A, right? So again, the second case, which is nothing but when these two are out of phase, what will happen to them? If phi is equal to pi, what will happen to this equation? What is cos pi? Cos pi is nothing but minus 1. So what I will get over here? I will get A as A1 square plus A2 square minus twice 7A2. And what is this? This is nothing but A1 minus A2 bracket square. Okay. So I will get A as A1 minus A2. How? Because this comes out to be square root of A1 minus A2 bracket square. So I will get here, in this case, A1 minus A2. So amplitude is minimum when two waves are out of phase, and it is subtraction of individual amplitude. So this is A1 minus A2. If A1 and A2 are equal, what happens to the A? A minimum will be 0. What will be A maximum? Twice A, if amplitudes are equal. Okay. Now after studying this, which is amplitude, now what happens to the intensity? So actually intensity is proportional to square of amplitude. So if I write down the equation of amplitude over here, which is I is proportional to A square. This is the actual equation of intensity. Okay. So if A is maximum, obviously I will be maximum. So you are getting maximum intensity when amplitude is maximum. You are getting minimum intensity if amplitude is minimum. And when we are getting maximum amplitude, when both waves are in phase, then amplitude comes out to be maximum. And when both waves are out of phase, we are getting amplitude to be as minimum. Okay, so this is all about the amplitude of resultant wave produced due to superposition of two waves. What is that? A is equal to under root A1 square plus A2 square plus twice 7A2 cos phi. Then we have put values for phi as 0 and pi. And after that we got maximum and minimum values of both of them. And after doing the maximum and minimum value of amplitude, we have calculated maximum and minimum value of I max also. So I will just write over here, what will be I max? It will be A max, right? Or square of A max. So it will be A1 plus A2 bracket square. What will be I min? Sorry. I min, it will be A1 minus A2 bracket square. Is it right? So for solving numericals, you will have to know these formulas. All of these formulas. Okay. So after doing theoretical part of this, we are going to see some numericals which are related to this concept, and then this concept will be very understood to all of you. Okay. So let's see some numericals which are there, which is solved in your textbook and even which are in your exercise. Okay. So let's move towards the numerical part. Okay, on board you can see the numerical, which is the displacement of sinusoidal waves propagating through a string given by equations, which is y1 is equal to 4 sine 20x minus 30t and y2 is equal to 4 sine 25x minus 40t, and x and t or x, y and t are given in CGS system. That means x and y are in centimeters and t is in seconds. Okay, that has been given. What you are going to find out? First of all, try to understand the equation. What is the given equation? When string is moved like this, when one end is attached to the rigid support and other end is in my hand, and if I move that string like this, so it will create a sinusoidal wave. Okay, so what equations we are getting by doing this? The equations are this, y1 and y2. Okay, now we are going to find out the phase difference between both the waves at x is equal to 5 centimeter and t is given as 2 seconds. When these two waves interfere with each other, what happens at x is equal to 5 and t is equal to 2 seconds. Okay, so let's find out. Solution. Okay, first we are going to put x as 5 and t as 2 in the first equation, which is y1, and then we are going to put both the values in y2. Okay, so let's put in y1. So y1 will be 4 sine 20 into 5 minus 30 into 2. So what I will get over here, 4 sine 40. This is the first that I have got. Now for y2, 25x minus, not x, I just wanted to put 5 over here, and 40 into 2, right? So it will be like this. So directly you can find out the phase difference. What will be the phase difference? By how much phase they got changed? By 5. By 5 radian they got changed. So phase difference will be pi, and it is nothing but 5 radian. Okay. So let's move towards the next. What we are going to find out here. Imax and Imean that you are going to find out. Right now, before this numerical, I have written Imax formula. What was that? It was A1 plus A2 bracket square. Is it right? And what was Imean? It was A1 minus A2 bracket square. Am I right? Yes. So I will just put the values of A1 and A2 in the formula. Okay. So this is nothing but A. If you compare the equation as y is equal to A sin omega t, right? So this is nothing but A1 and A2. A1 is 4 and even A2 is also 4. Okay. So I will put values over here. 4 plus 4 will be 8 square, which is 64, and this is 0. Okay. So Imax what we got as 64 and Imean we got as 0. Okay. So this is how you are going to find out such kind of numericals. How you will find out the intensities. Okay. So we are going to solve some numericals which are there in exercise also. So let's move towards that. In exercise, example number 10 and 12, I guess both are of such kind of theory, basis of this theory. So we'll solve both of them. Okay. So here is the second numerical, which is a wave of frequency 500 Hz is traveling with a speed of 350 meter per second. And what is the phase difference between two waves, or two displacement actually is given at a certain point at times 1 milliseconds apart. Okay. And then if phi is equal to 45, you are going to find out the path difference. That is the minimum distance or minimum displacement that you are going to find out. So first of all, we are going to write what is given in this term. Okay, what is given? A wave of frequency 500 Hz. So I will write n is equal to 500. Okay, then what is next given? Speed of wave is given, which is b, which is 350. Right? Now, what we are going to find out? We are going to find out the phase difference. Okay, so before finding phase difference, in formula of phase difference we have to find out the lambda, and we don't know the value for lambda. So first of all we are going to find out the value for lambda. So what will be the formula for it? As you all know, what is V? V is nothing but n lambda. So by using this we can find out the value for lambda over here. So let's find out. So lambda will be V upon n, right? What is V? is 350 upon n, which is 500. So this comes out to be 0.7. It is meter. So this comes out to be 0.7 meter. So we got the value for lambda also. Right? Now, what is given next? We have to find out the phase difference if the time apart is 1 millisecond. So t is given. Okay? So I will write t, which is 1 millisecond. You have to convert it into seconds, right? So that will be 0.001 seconds. Alright? So, what will be the phase difference between both of them? So, for finding phase difference, you have to know the path difference first, or what is the distance covered by waves, right? So, we'll find out that. Path difference we have to calculate, which is distance travelled. Path difference is nothing but. So, as we all know, what is v? That is velocity. It is distance divided by time, right? So, if we wanted to find out the distance, what we can do? We can multiply v into t. So, same we are going to do over here. So, the path difference will be v into t. So, we have the value for v, which is 350 into, we know the value for t, which is 0.01. So this comes out to be 0.35. Okay, so this is what you got. What will be the unit? Obviously meter, because it is the path difference. Okay, now what to find out? We are going to find out the phase difference between both of them. So to find out phase difference is equal to 2 pi upon lambda into path difference. This is the formula. Phase difference is equal to 2 pi by lambda into path difference. So we have all the values. So I can just put 2 pi upon, what is value for lambda? It is 0.7 into path difference. What is that? 0.35. Right? So after calculating, I will just calculate this. I will write all these things in single numericals. A single number, that is 7 into 10 to the power minus 1 into 35 into 10 to the power minus 2. So this will be 5. So this comes out to be pi radians. So phase difference is nothing but pi radians. This is what you got. Now what is the next one? So I hope you got this, how we have calculated, right? So next one is, if pi is equal to 45, you are going to calculate path difference. Inverse you are going to use. Okay. So let's do over here. So we will just write pi is 45. That means it should be in terms of radian, it will be pi by 4. Okay. So I will write pi by 4. So I am going to find out the path difference. So it will be lambda by 2 pi, inverse of that equation. Phase difference. Right? Inverse of this, which is lambda by 2 pi into phase difference. Right? So what is phase difference and what is lambda? Lambda we have calculated 0.7 divided by 2 pi into, what is phase difference? Pi by 4. This pi will get cancelled, so you are getting 0.7 divided by 8. So this comes out to be this 0.0875 meters. So this is the answer for this number. Okay, fine. So if you have any query regarding such kind of numericals, do ask me. Even there is one another numerical which is there, in which they have asked, like I will just show you. Yeah, two sources of sounds are separated by distance 4 meter. Okay, two sources of sounds are given and they are separated by a distance 4 meter. They both emit sound with same amplitude and frequency, 330 Hz. They are 180 out of phase. At what points between the two sources will the intensity is maximum? Okay, so in this numerical, what you can, I will just, it is related to very much theory part, not exactly the numerical part. As they have given, they are out of phase. Okay, so we have studied in the last part that when two waves interfere or superimpose, when they are out of phase, at the center, the displacement, that is the path difference, becomes 0. Okay, so when we are getting the maximum amplitude or we are getting the maximum intensity, it should be at a distance pi by 4, not pi by 4, lambda by 4 from the center, and to the another it should be the lambda by 2. So by putting all this value, you will get the answer for this. So I have just given you the hints for this numerical. Okay, so as we done actually 3 numericals, one we have discussed already, and so 3 numericals are based on this, and we have calculated the values for all of these 3, and we have done the theory part, which is resultant amplitude and intensity part. Okay, so I hope you all got all these things which are there in today's video. So if you have any query about this, do ask me, I will solve your query. Okay, thank you so much.